instructive that while minimum wage, right, nationally was 30,000, a lawyer could be earning 15,000.
Some lawyers in Nigeria earn 15,000 naira. In those days, that small pocket you see, when a lawyer represents you in case, in those days, what you do is you put a coin there. That's the lawyer's fee.
Lawyer!
It's your constituency.
Lawyer!
I hope we can have more decent, sane Nigerians.
There's a report that said people are stealing our dollars per hour. How much $1,000 per hour live in Nigeria per hour?
1.8 billion.
They've not even said anything about it.
The criminal dynamics of states, you find out that government play a higher role in the criminality than the state, than any other entity whatsoever.
Nigeria's problems are many, right? I can only address one in this my first step.
They know what they are doing. You know,
Keep us together.
Keep us together.
Middleman. Hello, welcome to the Middleman today. The jurors are definitely back with a new offering for the Nigerian mind. Juror Emeka Madinagu will let out a cry following a vision of President Tinubu's journey on the road to Damascus, while Juror Cyril Abaku will be speaking to why so much is being spent to manufacture consent in Nigeria at a time like this. Juror Olajumoke Alaode James will be singing a dirge for Onyeka Nwenwe, the elegant stallion who depleted the Earth's population with our passage. I will be looking at what it will take to push the frontiers of the Nigerian bar into a new age. This in just a moment. Stay well. Middleman. Welcome back. My case, the bar and the citizen. The challenges before the new NBA president are enormous. The legal profession, like any other, is faced with a myriad of socio-economic conditions that requires the association's intervention. Lawyers are struggling to surmount these challenges, from office rent to staff salary to maintenance and sustenance of clientele, harsh work condition, delay in deposing of cases, court congestion of cases, chamber management, lawyer general welfare, addressing societal needs, upholding the rule of law for economic justice for all, and a host of other issues. In the build-up to the election, Maazi Afam SAN promised to address some of these issues. Now, he has the time to do this. He should look closely at lawyers' welfare and address issues affecting the smooth running of the court system. A situation where some courts now sit by 10 a.m. and switch off their generating set by 2 p.m. because of the cost of diesel is worrisome. The NBA, in collaboration with the state judiciary, should do something to extend work time and the efficient administration of states and federal judiciary. A standard of pay for young lawyers is critical. NBA can come up with a minimum wage for lawyers and make a legislation thereof to cater for the welfare of new entrants into the legal profession. And this is not to say that the welfare of older lawyers should not be equally addressed. There is a need to build one happy legal family through the NBA. And it is the responsibility of the NBA president to ignite this conversation and entrench same. What is the vision of NBA? What is in it for the public? and indigent people in Nigeria. A people-driven NBA must ask these questions and give clear answer to same. NBA, as part of its objective, has a responsibility to help society to get justice against all forms of oppressions, interrogate government policies, and represent the poor in times of disputes. This is a common challenge to all lawyers, given that the NBA has ostensibly deviated from that objective in recent time. Will the new NBA president revive the culture of a people-driven bar? The onus is on him, the ESCO, and all lawyers in the country in the interest of social justice. My verdict: I shall therefore rule that the Nigerian Bar Association has the temperament to call for social justice and sustain the conversation in that line to cause the emergence of economic justice. The law is a noble profession, and lawyers are ministers in the temple of justice. Let society be better for it. I shall go to Rabbi again.
Very interesting. You talked about courts using generators. I was in a court recently where the magistrate, the chief magistrate actually, was using her phone, the flashlight from her phone, because of her work, even to read the judgment. You could see the ceilings were broken, and there was a possibility of any of the ceilings landing on people in the court. So it's a sad situation that the judiciary has been, the bar and the bench, have been taken through the crucible of poverty. And so that's why the recent survey said that Nigerian judges are the highest bribe takers in the country. And so it's also reflective of the kinds of cases, some of the kinds of cases we have, where there's a lot of confusion. Even after the court has delivered the case, you are still having to ask lawyers to interpret what was said.
Interpret the judgment.
And then even lawyers to encouraging their clients to pursue cases they know will not get anywhere. And then at the end of the day, what you see, they tell you is a victory for democracy. So I support this advocacy.
You also mentioned a minimum wage for young lawyers as being critical. I wonder if the national minimum wage does not affect the law profession as is.
It does, but it's too small for a new lawyer.
No, so minimum wage is not for a graduate now. Minimum wage is minimum wage, meaning that you do not have any degree at all. You are a sweeper, you are a maid.
I understand.
So, if you amend it appropriately, maybe a young lawyer should be earning 250, 300 now, if minimum wage for somebody who is not educated at all is 70,000. So I'm wondering why the need, for you guys to think about your own, as in, rather than just implement what is national. I don't know, But
should I tell you the reason?
Go ahead, sir.
Some lawyers in Nigeria earn 15,000 naira. I was paid 20,000 naira for 7 years. 7 straight years in my place of practice before I left. So you see, the reason I'm saying they should have a minimum wage for lawyers is not far-fetched. I know exactly what I'm saying. Many chambers do not or cannot also even pay, don't want to, not that they cannot, don't want to pay even the 70,000 you are talking about, or to then multiply by whatsoever. Okay, there is a problem in the profession in terms of wages, wherein you are told as a young lawyer that you are learning the job. In some very wicked places, the principal will tell you that you are the one that's supposed to pay the chambers.
I had a lawyer friend who was paying his boss.
Okay, so that is the reason I'm saying that. That is not to say, the profession is completely damaged. But I'm saying, just like we have it in our law and ethics, we have our Legal Practitioners Act, and whatever we have there, we implement.
Okay.
So let them take this take something above whatever the country is paying. Then because what the country is paying, even if you multiply by whatever it is to level 10, which a lawyer is,
yes,
okay, by graduation,
yes,
is still not enough. I mean, a non-lawyer or out of school is level 8. A lawyer, because of the law school, 1 year extra, is level 10.
yes.
Okay. Now, even that 250 or 300 is still small for a young lawyer who's in litigation. That's why many of them, when they practice for 1 month, they will leave the place and go and be singing Afrobeat and all those kind of things.
No, but it's instructive that while minimum wage, right, nationally was 30,000, a lawyer could be earning 15,000, which is pretty much what a sweeper
there are slave drivers everywhere. Except that I was also going to chime in on 2 grounds. One, because I didn't talk about social justice, I'll come to that. Is there a possibility that the strength, I mean, you could put certain chambers or practitioners in cadres, the way you have the SANS, for example. So if you get a job with a very prestigious law firm, what we minimum wage for you should even be different from when you are entering at another.
There are law firms that pay lawyers higher 500.
Exactly. So
young lawyers and give them cars.
Yeah. So exactly. Yeah. So the NBA can seek to codify that. That's a possibility, right?
That is smart advocacy.
Yes. Good. Then the second issue is that over the years, the NBA may have lost its teeth.
I thought they regained it under Olumide Akpata.
Well, to an extent.
We loved him for his 2 terms.
To an extent. But again, one tree can't make a forest. And so the NBA has to go back to reinvent itself. We saw the lights. I mean, even if we didn't see it the way others would have seen it, we heard when we had the lights of Akabashono and Co.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
True.
When was NBA? The NBA.
They didn't take the bar.
Yes. The NBA. There's another group called the ANA. Association of Nigerian Authors. ANA and some other groups were at the forefront of the vanguard for democracy.
Oh yeah.
They forced Babangida to a standstill. They made sure, you see, because if lawyers give way, what else do you want to have in society?
Lawyers are at the forefront of the end bad governance.
Exactly, because
they've gone through the IG.
They've not stopped doing what they do.
So perhaps the face of the struggle
at the meeting yesterday with the IG
continues to change. Yes,
the NBA came in independently. We lawyers were there, and NBA came independently.
Yes.
Okay.
So it tells you that lawyers have not stopped but what they're saying is they should do more. They should go back to the old path where it was not, the practice of law was not about survival, but was about the society, the rule of law.
Yeah.
And that is why, if you see, when you are called to bar, we're told your wig, that wig they give you, you will see a pocket at the back of that wig. In those days, that small pocket you see, when a lawyer represents you in case, in those days, what you do is you put a coin there. That's the lawyer's fee. So at that time, law was not read by poor people. The prestigious prince and princesses study law. Children of business tycoons study law. So when they represent you in court, you don't need to pay. All you do is you show appreciation by putting a coin at that back pocket. But today, the social dynamics have changed. So what you have today is completely different from what it used to be.
Where Nigerian judges are the most corrupt.
I would even
that's an indictment you cannot substantiate. I don't think. Who are you benchmarking it with?
Excuse me, sir. The survey was not done by Jumoke.
We cannot name names. Some of the
where's the survey?
Lawyer.
It's your constituency.
Lawyer.
Justice Rita Jumoke, where is she?
It's in Abuja.
What took her out of the league of
that is not even corruption that took her. What took her out was she was to deliver a judgment on an election matter within 3 months after adoption. That's why I say the public should inquire.
But it's fairly. We don't know how this is because we are pressed for time. We can't tell him. Hold on.
I've appeared before.
Wait.
So Nigerian judges do not collect bribes. Wait now.
I want to answer you. The EFCC went on the dead of the night, and arrested 12 judges of the Federal High Court.
Yes, we are listening.
On a Gestapo operation.
Yes.
In Ikoyi, different places.
And broken.
Took them in the night unexpectedly. Did search.
And $5.
Hold on. They searched them. Now, from the 1st to the 12th judge, they found no evidence, nothing incriminating about any of them.
The dollars were their own legal.
They were all tried. There was no evidence to convict. So, you see, people have this mentality that once you are a judge, you are collecting money.
Oh, I can help him.
Let's go. We cannot win this race.
2 examples.
We're not saying judges don't collect money or they are not corrupt. That's not what we're saying. But we're saying that even you, the public that indicts them, you can't prove anything.
Yeah, lawyer, you know that we don't have evidence. Lawyer, you know we don't have evidence. Who will convict them now?
For him.
Who will convict them?
He has turned this into a proceeding.
Against.
He has turned this into a proceeding.
Who will convict your
The
lordship?
complaints against them.
Who will convict
It is
your
not
lordship?
Against them is not sufficient.
It is not a matter of complaint.
In Ghana,
Let me give him 2 examples.
was quite clear because in Ghana they did a video recording of.
Can I give him 2 examples?
You people have been asking us to leave our phones outside.
Can I give him 2 examples?
No, you go into court with your phone. Nobody says you leave your phone out.
I could give him 2 examples. Hold on. You know the one that Justice Kayode came out and cried and said that we now have billionaire judges. No judge could ever become a billionaire except by corruption.
Yes, sir.
Whether it is proven in court or not. We're not talking about legality.
Yes.
Even on the moral score, if it is wrong, it is wrong. I know as lawyers, you talk about morality versus legality. The second one,
billionaire judge,
former NBA president, Paul Musoro, that gave money to the judge because he was going to bury his father. How much did he give to him?
What about the judge?
My goodness gracious me.
That his daughter was wedding. And the lawyer
gave him money.
And then when it comes to election petition, all the judges are happy to be put on the panel. Why? Why are judges happy to be put on election?
You are not, hold on this table, Juror Evans, please hold on. On this table, we are not talking to Juror Evans.
But it's the one
you are talking to a barrister who thinks he's in court and has to be very advanced.
This case was filed before me, and I'm the one that ruled on it. Okay. I could have as well shove it off and take another case, but I took this one, and I took it here not because the panel here can solve the problem at hand. You understand?
The what?
The panel, not because the panel will solve the problem at hand, but that the case as I delivered it, I'm going to put it in the NBA platform. That is the major reason. But that you are sharing your thoughts on the issue is critical.
Yes.
Because now this is like a maniacal public of public discourse. What would be whenever the public, whenever they hear about a lawyer or a judge, they just draw a line immediately. We're against them.
Yes, sir.
Now they draw that line, unfortunately, because they are not even able to indict properly.
No. Yes, because we're not lawyers.
See, the truth is this: you can see 10 billion with a judge, 100 billion with a judge. The judge is not corrupt until you create a nexus. You link that money to a proceed of crime. If you can't do that, you shouldn't say
that's like saying until the truth has become a fact. It is not truth enough.
Until you find a rapist. Until you find a rapist on top
of a woman.
Because if you judge society, if you judge people like that, you make so many errors.
I agree with you.
And at the end of the day, you are going to jam pack everything.
Don't agree with Barrister Phil.
I agree.
So don't do that. So when we come back, your Cyril Abaku will be wondering why so much money is being spent to manufacture consent to counter-mobilize against the End Bad Governance movement. Stay with us.
Middleman. You're welcome back to the Middleman. My case, the manufacture of consent. Hundreds, if not thousands, of groups have obviously been at work in the past few weeks, holding press conferences and so-called counter-protests as Nigeria braces for the hashtag End Bad Governance protests. It is all the classic manufacture of consent. Apologies, Noam Chomsky. In fact, APC state chairmen have said clearly they'll be mobilizing for counter-protests in their respective states. There was actually a band of thugs who even went some markets in Lagos to threaten shop owners. They told them to make sure they didn't take part in the protest, else they will have to deal with worst consequences humanly possible. The police won't see these cyber rattlers to pick them up. They only know of some mercenaries about to come into Nigeria to hijack the protests. But this is an old script. Ask General Babangida. They will take your money, but they won't show up when the cookies crumble. In fact, they will use your money to fund their movement against you. We've seen it before. There's only so little money can buy these days. The best thing to do now are reforms. My verdict. Instead of spending so much on counter mobilization, we could have used all that money to address one urgent item on the list of demands put forth by the protesters. At least one. Secondly, like I said earlier, they will take these monies, your monies, but too eagerly turn the tables against you once it's the most convenient thing to do for them. Buyers beware.
Yes, sir. 3 things stand out immediately. You are doing a protest to protest oncoming protests. Are we all mad?
The protesters are still stranded in Abuja.
They don't take their money.
They did not give them their 5,000.
1-5.
No,
There was a boy counting.
5,000.
That boy was.
He was counting. No,
It was 500. He was counting.
And that 1-5.
The semblance of the bishop that we had. You know, the bishop, they went to share their loot.
Yes, we saw the video when they were sharing their loot.
One of them was selling plumbing materials at
It was caught now.
Now, the allegations that this counter mobilization is costing about 6 billion. I'm agreeing with your verdict that we could have spent 6 billion to actually do something. Even if it is what's this thing they say they have removed subsidy that you do, maybe that 6 billion will do subsidy for a few days or a month, you know, rather than solve the problem.
Aside the one Lagos State government spent on
rather than solve the problem, they are spending money, you know, to counter the protests. Now, the last thing for me is this, and we may say that, you know, Tinubu and the way he's done his things, you know, over the years. Some people believe that is some Maradona like Babangida, you know, that is his style. But people are, you know, demanding good governance, right? You say to them, the IG called, you know, some groups in Lagos and said, so that this your protest is not hijacked, stay in Freedom Park and Peace Park. For what? Well, it's a peaceful protest. What you ought to do is to escort us and ensure that it's not hijacked. We've also seen that the people who truly hijack over the years is the federal government, brought by government buses, brought by SUVs, by government officials.
Anytime you are doing the wrong thing, there's usually no incitement.
Yes.
Did you see the protesters? The ones that are saying
no to protest. Protesters.
If you see them, you will see they lack motivation. They look hungry. They are tattered. They are moving as if they are in procession. They are mourning. There's excitement. It's wrong. They
are doing it for money. And I said, I said on Monday that these ones that are being paid 5,000, 10,000 for this protest, give them 2,000 or then 2K, right?
To revert.
On the day of the hashtag End Bad Governance protest, and they will join the protest. Meaning that the protest they protested against, give them 2K for it, they will also join it. But in highlighting Tinubu's style, I was going to get at something. NNPC all of a sudden is employing people. All of a sudden they are giving us Gary and rice. Church is giving us Gary. Government is giving us rice that they say they are even selling in Ondo. All of a sudden, they say, don't worry, we'll be giving you 50,000 naira. All you Niger Delta youths. Just calm down. Before we give you employment, we'll be giving you 50,000 every month.
One notorious ex-agitator who is wheelchair bound has been making a lot of noise.
No, so the point I'm driving at is it now seems like a lot of palliatives being thrown at the populace rather than really solve the problem.
But
You mentioned put on Gem 10 o'clock and put it off at 12 o'clock in court.
So
if you'd only just say that, look, Nigeria's problems are many, right? I can only address one in this my first step, be it security, so that our farmers can go back to their farms, or electricity, so that all of us can create jobs for ourselves. Talk to us, explain what the issues are.
This is what has just happened to us now. You see, the same thing that happened during the election is what is going on now. Okay, during the election was vote buying, just like this. Funds were distributed, and then people lost their minds. Now, the same people have aggregated again. Those ones that are saying if they burn you well, come out for the protests, are the same entities that said if they burn you well, come here and vote for PDP. You understand? So they unleash the same fear and violence. Now, these ones that are collecting money now, gratification that they will spend on transport before they won't get home, get back to their destination. These are the people amongst us, okay, that have made it very difficult for the collective to mobilize with one voice.
Why are we not feeding this?
You understand? Because they will always play this role at every point in time. Theirs is survival.
Yeah.
And their survival mechanism is so cheap that with 10,000 naira, 20,000 naira, you can buy them over and then use them to achieve or do whatever wrong you want to do.
Yeah.
Now the area boys and some of those cultists that are on drugs and all that the federal government is supposed to take into rehabilitation. This period, they will go using state governors to go negotiate with them, then pull them into the protest to go and counter the protest. And at the end of the day, what you have is people who need state help to get themselves reintegrated into society. The state picks them up, give them VIP treatment for 2 days, and then unleash them back to society to go destroy whatever is left of this society. And so if you look at the criminal dynamics of state, you find out that government play a higher role in the criminality than the state than any other entity whatsoever.
Well, what I just think is that why these people have this audacity is because those who want a better Nigeria to be achieved in a peaceful manner are more. Otherwise, like I told many of them that look, your madness, is not the worst of this kind that can never be unleashed anyway. And if those agitating for a better country actually decide to go low with you,
true, very true.
You people,
they will run out.
You will be run into the ground and flattened.
True.
So it's not about shouting this and this and this, because if you come out like the chaps that are going to the markets and threatening Igbo traders, they know that if there is a fight back, it is not them that will attack. It is innocent fellow citizens going about their businesses that will not be unfortunately, impacted. Yes. They engage in it. So they know what they are doing, mixing up. Because these fellows are really cowards, sincerely speaking.
Very true.
I've seen situations, forget about all this one we talk about in schools, high institutions, cultists and all of that. When I was back in school, there were when we told God, listen, let us tell you today. If it comes to a zero-sum game of who dies first, right? You will understand that violence does not reside in just one place.
Sure.
Now, when it comes to the point, you see, when mankind gets to the point, that's why it's good, for us to have good people who want better society. Otherwise, if mankind descends to that conventional state, it's about who dies first. It's not about all this noise. If you will not even live. You will not even be able to pass the night anywhere peacefully. So I hope we can have more decent, sane Nigerians. Well, look at one of their enforcers, MCO, is virtually being thrown out of the whole show.
And MCO more wet.
Yes. So they are
That should
all.
have been the title of your.
Look at Asai Dokubo. Look at Asai Dokubo. It's over 50. Look at over 50. All of these people, you know, were in the same age bracket. And I look at these people.
Fools are 50.
Some of their mates are actually grandfathers. And yet,
Are you sure they are in grandfathers themselves?
no. And yet
They are threatening people.
Look at what they are doing. No.
For money.
I feel sorry because it's not so difficult to make money anywhere in the world. You don't have to debase yourself
True, very true.
because you want to put something in your mouth.
Rhino that even lives outside of the country should
But then what you said, wrote something that indicated like maybe he was suffering depression.
Oh, true.
Well,
It's possible.
In response to the birthday message that Radio sent to me, said, I know that living outside your country can be very difficult.
Very
so
true.
You read in between the lines.
So we should throw some compassion his way.
And we should be praying for him.
Okay.
well, what else can we say? When we return, Juro Emeka Madunago will be taking us to the spot on the road to Damascus where President Tinubu, not the Apostle Paul, but President Bola Tinubu was awakened to the rudest shock of his political life yet. Stay with us.
You welcome back. My case, Tinubu's road to Damascus. The legendary reggae artist Bob Marley, it was that sang, think you're in heaven but you're living in hell. Time alone, oh, time will tell. Perhaps he had Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu in mind. While Tinubu was throwing his weight around as the national leader of the All Progressives Congress under former President Muhammadu Buhari, he was secretly nursing the ambition to succeed him. However, little did he realize how soon the saying that what goes around comes around will come true for him. The same man who was captured in a video boasting that power is not served a la carte. You have to snatch it, grab it, and run with it. Finally found that he only sold a monkey and bought a dog, same four-legged animal. Basking in the euphoria of having cornered the presidency by all means possible, he mounted the days on May 29, 2023 and declared, subsidy is gone. Even his most ardent supporters knew the bubble had burst, even before their idol left the groove where it was carved. Since that infamous declaration, Nigeria has not known peace. Things have fallen apart. The Falcon, or if you like, the economy, has refused to heed the call of the Falcon at Tinubu. In other words, Tinubu has landed on the road to Damascus. Like Apostle Paul of old, Tinubu has seen that while it's easy to get into power, using it to make a positive impact is a different ballgame. My verdict. Well, Paul's experience on the road to Damascus led to his emergence as a great apostle and evangelist and preacher of truth and righteousness. Tinubu, on the other hand, appears to be like the proverbial man in Professor Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart novel that challenged his chief God to a fight. Time will tell whether Tinubu will, like Apostle Paul, shed the toga of self-righteousness and find accommodation with the people he claims to be ruling. Once again, time alone, oh, time will tell.
Yeah, this case sounds to me like political apocalypse.
Man.
Apocalypse means revelation. That is, apo, open it. Calypsis, let's see what is inside. Okay, so this is a case that reverberates. In fact, it reminds me truly, as your reference to Paul the Apostle on his way to Damascus, when Jesus appeared to him and struck him with blindness and handed him over to Ananias for rehabilitation. After his rehabilitation, he came out a firebrand
Apostle.
a firebrand apostle that held the New Testament.
Keyword rehabilitation.
Amen. So the Tinubu's case right now is not far away from what happened to Apostle Paul. Tinubu does not only need rehabilitation, but he also needs to understand that through protests, he's going to see clearly the implications of his action. Because he stood out there, he was sworn into office, he had not seen the record. They've not handed over any material to him or whatever takeover notes that he should have understudied. He has not assembled his ministers who could advise him on decisions to take, given that we have 1 month to go.
Wisdom.
And The government before it had left off power, did not budget for subsidy. We had 1 month to go. That 1 month was supposed to be a clearing, home keeping assignment, so that when he brings his minister in, they will look at it and say, okay, what do we do in this circumstance? Should we extend this and make so that Nigerians can have soft landing? But what did he do? He threw caution to the wind on that day, like the proverbial antelope that jumped and broke his leg before the dance began. He just, subsidy is gone, and didn't know what to do thereafter. Didn't have any strategy, didn't have any plan, didn't know what to do. He thought he was living in heaven, whereas he was in hell, ditto to Bob Marley. But today, the citizens, having been dissatisfied completely and having also rejected his style of governance, they are asking for a change. Many schools of thought have likened this change to, they call it the African Spring.
Yes, so it's a revolution coming.
Took off from Kenya to
Uganda
and
to
Ghana, and now
Nigeria,
sweeping through the Nigerian hemisphere. So Africa is going to, at least before this protest end in the next 11 days, we would have seen the true definition of what we should christen this period. Because it's a movement, okay, and this is a movement that is born out of bad leadership. We have a Sahel place now where, because of bad leadership too.
True.
The revolution in West Africa started 2-3 years back when the military started taking over from Burkina Faso to Niger to all that. It's a lot of bad governance. Here, because perhaps we feel we are civilized, the military may not strike. They don't have to do that, but the citizens can strike.
Yes, sir.
The citizens can protest. Labor can protest, and that's what we are doing. And at the end of the day, we are going to write it clearly that the security and welfare of the people is a primary purpose of government. Nobody can change that.
Very, very true. I didn't want to interrupt you, but President Tinubu came out and said he didn't know what was wrong with him the day he said subsidy is gone. You know, so he took back.
He spoke that in Yoruba.
No, he took back the subsidy is gone. That, you know,
Then
he wasn't in his right mind when he was saying. He said he was possessed, to quote him.
Yeah.
You know,
of courage, right?
He was possessed, leaving 200 million people impossible.
But back to Juror Emeka Madodagu's case, I absolutely agree with your verdict that, you know, like Paul, we will finally, when the scales fall from President Tinubu's eyes, we, you know, the Nigerian citizens will finally know if he's, you know, been appointed by God or we want to follow someone else. I absolutely am impressed that with all the threats, you know, from traditional rulers to Tinubu's first daughter, the office of the first child, threatening market women, threatening market women, Ejeki Babani, meaning that her father should do his first term or first 3 years before they start complaining. All of these people, they're so far away from reality, right? Because when you live in big houses where once power goes out, generator comes on automatically, you think the people who are making noise about lack of power are just rabble-rousers, you know. But this protest, however they want to react to it, where the Nigerian populace are coming together, elites from Dangote to the poor sweeper, to complain about the government style of governance, will show to everyone. And you know, Nigeria has to be the most careful where we have protests because we are the largest black nation in the world. Right?
And so we face overrun that place.
So even as Kenya did his own and then it sprang up in Uganda and Ghanaians, those ones not even plan anything before they just went on the street. Complaining about bad governance also. Maybe they saw Nigerians planning for months and thought, you know what, we will even go ahead before you people. Anyway, the young people across Africa are now taking democracy, you know, by their own hands and saying, Not again. Not under our watch. The things that happened to our parents and they took it because they were afraid of your guns and your bullets, we will stand. How many of us can you kill? If you see the young people in Kenya, they were saying to the police, how many of us? As those were firing bullets at them, they would lie down and get up again and start to throw stones. Eventually, their policemen started removing their uniforms and apologizing. Eventually, they ran the IG out of his office. So, Nigerian IG and commissioners of police, having seen what is happening across Africa, I'm hoping that they use their sense and protect the protesters, the peaceful protesters, from allowing thugs to hijack the protests.
The IG is actually Stallion is supposed to end tomorrow. Then I just want to quickly address two things. One, if you remove Sani Abacha, put the name Bola Tinubu, it's the same thing.
No, I disagree.
If you remember Abacha's, I will give you my examples. You remember Abacha's time, how his children...
Abacha had a killer squad.
No, how... I'm coming. You know, it's not everything that is... But I'm just saying, I'm just looking at similarities. How his children, how Abacha's children were jumping all over the place, you know, I mean, believing
you know, he lost one son that flew the presidential jet to go and buy suya in Kano.
Then, you look at the way his children were behaving. Then remember how he recruited traditional rulers. If you remember, one prominent traditional ruler in the south, in the southwest, that was when he actually...
Can I start to even state the dissimilarities? Abacha was appointed the sole candidate of 5 political parties.
It's not for a debate now.
No, it's not a debate.
Just a reference.
No, I'm not looking at the reference. That Tinubu just taking, you know, from the playbook that Abacha used.
I still
but it's going to fail. Because he got traditional rulers, Abacha got traditional rulers. Abacha got, even there was even one pastor in his song who said that anybody opposing Abacha was opposing God. I have not heard about him. I think his ministry collapsed.
After.
Not too long after. You know, so, and then there is this, but I'm happy at the way youths have been fighting back. And the second thing I want to mention is that I need to caution the IG on his utterances. One of the things he said, which is very dangerous, you may not have realized, is that foreign mercenaries, you know, are planning to infiltrate the protest. And I will have to let him know that around us, we have dysfunctional countries. We have Sudan, we have Chad, we have Central African Republic, we have the Sahel, where you have some of the deadliest terror groups in the world.
Yes, just close to us.
And then you have the Wagner group operating actively in Niger, Central African Republic, in Burkina Faso. So when you say certain things, what you are doing is that, you know, you are actually,
it's inflammatory.
It's like a dog whistle.
You are inviting them
to actually look
it's inflammatory
to a borderless country.
Yes, and if they
and that's dangerous.
I just hope they don't. Because what they say is like inviting a convergence of those foreign mercenaries.
It's very inflammatory.
It's something that Nigeria, the Nigerian military, all of Nigerian military secret service cannot put down.
Already, the internal security mechanism has collapsed already.
Like the advance has been saying,
if you,
when you see these people on the street tomorrow, buy them soft drinks and snacks.
Yes.
Because they are hungry.
That's police responsibility.
Yes, give them food
tomorrow
to eat. And beg them. Then the president should urgently address the nation by this time tomorrow evening and say...
No, tomorrow morning.
No. Since they want the protest to first start before they know what to do.
Then
by tomorrow
always late. Even when the demand,
they are always reactionary.
They are waiting to see whether the protest will indeed hold or not.
Momentum.
So momentum. So when the thing has begun to by this time tomorrow, 7 p.m. tomorrow, I'm sure the speech would have been written already. These guys are smart too. Because they're smart on the other side. So just address the country and say that I have given concession for the next 6 months or 1 year. Fuel will sell at 100 naira per liter and let it begin. No, it's true now.
It's on wallet.
Yeah, so if he, of course, so if he does those things by the following morning,
all of us will calm down.
True. But if that they don't know what to do, that's a lie. There's a report that said people are stealing our dollars per hour. How much $1,000 per hour? Live in Nigeria per hour.
1.8 billion.
They've not even said anything about it. Even I've never heard the EFC counter that statement. So what are we
they didn't counter it.
So who is this?
They had a meeting with the Interpol where the Interpol introduced this something noticing. Forgotten the whatever that they want to use to complement the SCUMO. You know, SCUMO is supposed to be this thing that
detection.
Yes, that should detect what is coming in, because the threshold is quite low from the 5 million per individual and then 10 million for corporate. But what people do now, they duplicate accounts. If I want to send 200 million, and now look for 5 persons and split it in between and make it look like I'm within the threshold. Then sometimes they use the bank to do others, send directly to the bank's account, or individual want to send, then he converts it to a corporate organization. Corporate organization now help them to increase the threshold. So the leakages are just so much. Some of them, they on drugs, when they sell the drugs and procure the resource, they can't bring the money in like that. So they go and purchase cars, jewelries, gold, purchase all those things, then bring it in through the border to legitimize it. And then, so all those issues, yes, to make it look like it's legitimate. So we are in the hands of people who don't care about how the society will subsist. So now the society will have to tell them that power really belongs to the people. And then the people can decide what they want to do with that power.
True.
When we return, Juror Oladumeka Lawode James has a dirge for Onyeka Onwenu. Stay with us.
Middleman.
Keep us together. Hey, struggling to stay in our life.
One love.
One love.
Keep us together.
Keep us together. Welcome back. As you may have already heard, my case is Elegant Stallion Onyeka Onwenu. Legendary Nigerian singer Onyeka Onwenu will be greatly missed. The music icon died on Tuesday, July 30 at the Reddington Hospital in Lagos. She had slumped shortly after performing at the birthday party of the CEO of Emzor Pharmaceuticals, Mrs. Stella Okoli. Onyeka Onwenu, 72, born on January 31, 1952, hailed from Arondiziogu, a town in Idiato, North Imo State, and was raised in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. She was the youngest daughter of Nigerian educationist and politician D.K. Onwenu, who tragically passed away in an auto crash when she was just 4 years old, a week before he was appointed Minister for Education. She attended Wesley College in Massachusetts, USA, where she earned a bachelor's degree in international relations and communication. Onwenu had a career that spanned over 4 decades. She was not only a renowned singer and songwriter, but also an actress, journalist, and politician. Her first album with Polygram, In the Morning Light, was released in 1984. Some of her most popular songs include One Love, like we just sang, Iyo Gogo, and Ekwe. Known for her powerful voice and charismatic stage presence, she earned the nickname Elegant Stallion from the Nigerian press. She also made a significant mark in Nollywood, starring in numerous films and television series, Half of a Yellow Sun, Lionheart, Muna, and many others. She served as the chairperson of the Imo State Council for Arts and Culture and was also a judge on the X Factor series. Onwenu, a member of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, contested twice to become the local council chairman of her local government and lost at both attempts, but was appointed chairperson of Imo State Council for Arts and Culture by former Governor Ikedi Hakim. On September 16, 2013, President Goodluck Jonathan appointed her the Executive Director, Chief Executive Officer of the National Center for Women Development. My verdict: Onyeka Onwenu, who leaves behind 2 sons, died doing what she loves best. She lived a great life that a lot of us want to emulate. May her soul rest well and her activism live on. Hopefully, the Nigeria of her dreams will be fulfilled very soon. Selah.
Well,
Sila.
sadly, she died 20 years after a similar thing took the life of
Stella Okoli's son.
Stella Okoli's son. And it's something that Nigerians need to, that needs to be urgently looked into, cardiac arrest, among Nigerians. because it's something that, there was a time it was believed to be, a fallout of obesity and some other things. But these days, even people who are not obese, suffer cardiac arrest.
you can be slim and have high cholesterol.
So but there are drugs that regulate cholesterol.
If you do regular checkups, right?
Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to also make an advocacy. For research, deeper research into the issue of cardiac arrest, cardiovascular diseases,
or public health in general.
Yes, I condone with Stella. I mean, coming from the loss of her son and then to this. But I think she should expand the government of her son's foundation, the foundation she set up in honor of her son, to really go into the issue of cardiovascular disease among Africans. It appears to be a particular trait.
No, so but if
but have you seen our cooking method?
If
oil is not floating on top of this soup,
Oily.
It's not properly cooked.
not even oil,
It's
our own is
oil.
oil.
It must be floating on top. Your soup will be under, the oil will be on top. How will we not have that's cholesterol now?
If you went on Google and check now, the most prevalent pathologies, that is ailments in the world, I think top of the list are cardiovascular diseases, and that is
cardiovascular and cancer.
And that I think cancer even comes like third or fourth. But cardiovascular, you are sure that it's on the top of the pile. This is why you find more enrollees training to be consultant cardiologists more than any other field in medicine, at least in Nigeria.
It's profitable.
Yes, exactly. So the point to be made is we're not even creating as much awareness. You see, the problem we have in this country is simple. We've been decivilizing for a long time. We don't respond to anything. Before now, after the Civil War, when there was a lot of what's the name of that ailment, the government introduced salt. Salt became a staple thing after the Civil War. In fact, if you went to a restaurant or hotel to eat, they put pepper and salt on the table for you.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't always like that before the war, but after the war, iodized salt, that was how government beat back this goiter thing.
Goiter.
So, but today, yes, given the prevalence of cardiovascular, I met a man at the airport and he told me, Siri, what I do. I mean, we're meeting for the first time, but he's a Nigerian big man. We just got talking and somehow, got on each other. He said he always has his blood pressure. There's this thing they call
blood pressure machine.
With him, he said before he goes to bed every night, he checks.
When he wakes up in the morning,
the first thing he does is also to check.
So it's actually healthy to do so.
Yes. So, but why are we not? So, what can we do to make this a staple of every Nigerian?
That machine that should be regular in every home,
and that
all of us check our blood pressure regularly,
and that it won't come off as a big man's thing.
I agree.
But it become expensive.
You know what?
It's the exchange rate now.
That's where we are.
Yes, it's important.
But the Nigerian government can actually get it involved.
I'm coming.
And subsidize.
That's where I'm going.
There is no plan on public health in the country.
Yes, sir.
You understand?
We have abandoned it for WHO.
There's a budget for it too.
But
there's no plan. The budget for health now.
Oh yeah. No, it's usually minimal now because we are waiting for WHO intervention.
From that minimal, can't they buy it like you said?
And it is from it is from
for 20 million.
Just like mosquito net, you share it.
When we had men that are still thinking, philosopher kings in government, somebody created what was called primary healthcare system, which is supposed to be your first point of contact with public health. Now, what it ought to be is that the primary health center could even be
vital sign
there, and given certain indications, they could give you one.
I agree.
When we are small, this press for government facilities wasn't there like that because yes, but today now, if you just say they will go like they do with the mosquito nets, pack it, even those they will pack it and then
say,
and they will write not for sale on it.
And they will sell it like that with the not for sale.
So anytime you reduce a people to survivor, it's a problem.
Yes,
you will not. That is when people will start to collect money to counter protest.
My case on Onyeka Owenu, I mean, at 72, even the Bible says 3 scores and 10. I mean, she had lived her life way above the life expectancy of Nigeria. We're just sad because we lost her, and she was healthy. She actually sang and danced.
But my view of that video, looking at it critically, Onyeka looked tired. Yeah. You could see.
I saw that.
You could see that
exhaustion.
At a point, her legs, even if you look at the end of
when
she was going back to her seat.
Yes, somebody was, watching her.
Exhaustion.
Her leg movements were not.
And she was wearing high-heel shoes.
And then again, I think, you see, if you look at some of these younger artists, there's something they do. They put some of these, some of their backup singers and all that. So maybe I'm not into artist management, but I think maybe sometimes when they are feeling tired or something, then they push some of the artists, backup singers and artists to come and perform some gyrations and all that.
But from what you saw,
they can catch their breath.
I doubt
that.
I doubt that she was hired as a performing artist at that party.
I don't think so.
I think he was just impromptu. Like my friend birthday, and I'm an artist.
No, what I'm saying is that for somebody of that age, she could have had some
I'm saying to you that
if she wasn't hired,
if she came as a guest, how would she come with backup artists now?
No. She could have, look, for instance, you could have called some of the guests. Let's dance.
So I'm even saying
her people.
No, maybe her people or some guests.
You can stylish. You are a journalist.
But in a manner.
Hold on, sir. I want to address what she has just said. You are a journalist. You are a journalist. I invite you to my birthday, and then you want to do your work, and then you have come with your junior writers so that they can aid you. No, I don't. The fact that she wasn't hired as an artist to perform at that party and her performance was short. It's just that if she was going to collapse, she could have been sitting there. There was a video I saw. It was his own birthday. Obviously, he hadn't checked his vitals because he was dancing into the party and it wasn't a rigorous dance. He was just strolling and he collapsed.
No, this is not even.
And people thought that it was a part of the dance. He was rolling on the floor for God. Yeah. So people didn't get up to assist him immediately. He died.
Did you see the video one day? Was it 2 years ago or so? So she was dancing at a party. And then she walked back to her chair, lay down on some chairs
and
just
died. See, I've danced at parties.
And they are filming her.
I've danced at parties where I feel palpitations. I joked around now that they should give me one of these machines. My cardiologist realized, because I'm an exercise buff, that my palpitations are exacerbated by exercise.
Do you see how old bicycles?
So she said to calm down when you bicycle.
What I was going to say.
So